Ted Lilly kept it close. Cub MVP Marlon Byrd tied it on a critical two-out, two-run homer. And the man who normally carries the Cubs stepped to the plate. High in the air to left. This ball will go! Cubs lead! Connecting on a 3-2 pitch, Aramis Ramirez put the Cubs ahead for good. Today they go for 3 in a row. Phillies and Cubs next. On another hot and steamy afternoon at Wrigley Field, we're set for Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet. And another friendly reminder to all the Philly fans that the Flyers did not win the Stanley Cup. It's Game 3 today, the Phillies and the Cubs from the friendly confines. Hi again, everyone. Alongside Todd Hollingsworth, in for Bob Brenly, I'm Len Casper. The offense has been really good. The pitching continues to be solid. And the Cubs piling up those strikeouts, Todd.
Well, it's been a lot of fun. The starting pitching's been fantastic. They have been all year. They've come out, they've done the job. They're being aggressive, especially with their fastballs. They're working the corners, they're elevating, doing all the right things.
Yeah, Sean Marshall and Carlos Marmol out of the bullpen have been excellent. Ted Lilly with a season high in strikeouts yesterday. And Carlos Marmol, I mean, it's hard to say. He gets nastier every time out. Bunch of strikeouts yesterday in the 9th inning, and they're hoping that that'll continue here with Randy Wells today. What I like is also a lot of strikeouts, very few walks.
Well, they've been aggressive in the zone, and that's what you're going to look for Randy Wells to do today. He needs to have aggressiveness on the corners and off the plate. He doesn't want to miss out over the plate. He gets hit hard when he misses out over the plate.
And for Randy, 3 pretty good starts to end the first half. Overall, I think a fairly disappointing first half. He hopes to carry that over what he did in L.A. here today. Cole Hamels, a left-hander, the 2008 NLCS and World Series MVP, makes his 19th start. A win over the Reds, 7-7, but a pretty decent 3.78 earned run average. So the Cubs' bats are hot, just like the weather that has been heating up here at Wrigley Field, and a chance today to clinch their first season series victory against the Phillies since 2001.
A Lexus dealer who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Member owned means our reason for being is your well-being. Experience wellness everywhere. AT&T. Rethink possible. And by Southwest Airlines. Visit southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on.
This is always a fun giveaway. The first 20,000 fans getting a baseball bingo card, compliments of Comcast Sportsnet. You fill up that card, and we are going to fill ours out. You have a chance to win the grand prize of 4 tickets to a 2010 game and a chance to sit in the broadcast booth for half an inning. So I guess we're already partial winners because we're in the booth. You're watching the Cubs and the Phillies on Comcast Sportsnet, presented by Allstate. Also want to welcome the men and women serving our country at home and abroad, watching on the Armed Forces Network, and hi to those watching in Vicenza, Italy. Also to those viewers watching on ESPN UK. Phillies and Cubs in Game 3, as the Cubs have won the first two. Sinker baller Randy Wells will work to this Phillies Southwest starting lineup. The big change is Placido Polanco back off the DL. Had a left elbow injury. They have released infielder Juan Castro to make room for Polanco. You see Ibanez back in there, but hitting 6th for the Phillies.
You had 318 to the top of that lineup. This is an impact hitter. This guy drives in big runs for that Philadelphia Phillies team. The Cubs defense around the outfield: Soriano, Bird, and Colvin. Aramis Ramirez will be at third. Castro, Terrio, and Lee. Soto's going to be behind the plate. Randy Wells on the mound today looks to work those corners. Get that sinker going early.
Well, the corners, at least the outside corner, was given pretty liberally yesterday by Marty Foster. The Phillies hitters in particular did not like it. We'll see what Gary Cedarstrom has in store today, the crew chief. Hickox, Culbreth, and there's Marty Foster over at third.
This is a big first inning for Randy. He has struggled a little bit in the first inning this year. 16 earned runs in his 18 starts, so he wants to get that sinker working in his favor. He wants to find out what the strike zone is going to be today and go from there.
Hey, I've got one spot on my bingo card already filled in. It says free right in the middle.
Got the same one.
Oh, you do?
1-1.
Rats. Here we go. Shane Victorino takes a fastball out of the strike zone, ball 1. I thought I had a special card. Home run for Victorino yesterday, his 15th. That's a new career high. 1-1. It's hot again, but the wind is not blowing out at the moment. Really not doing a whole lot. If anything, it's drifting in ever so slightly, but I just don't think that breeze is going to keep anybody from hitting a home run today.
Well, when the temperatures are as high as they have been, the ball is going to fly regardless of what the wind's doing, especially with these day games. The ball is going to be jumped today regardless of what the wind is telling you.
That'll be Colvin in right. And a big group of Comcast Sportsnet sponsors here at the ballpark, along with the sales staff. Mike McGrath Sr. throwing out a ceremonial first pitch, and Stanley Cup champion Blackhawk Dave Bolin.
A little high.
A little bit. Got a really nice hand from the crowd. And a strike. A very important part of this Phillies offense. Placido Polanco, as Todd mentioned, leading their team with a .318 batting average. Doesn't walk a ton, doesn't strike out much. Good contact hitter. He went to the DL on June 29th with left elbow inflammation, and he hit .571 in 2 rehab appearances in the Gulf Coast League.
You look at Placido, I think more importantly is what he brings to this lineup. You look at the numbers of the guys around him when he was out of there. When he was out of the lineup, this Phillies team hit .230 with only a .285 on base percentage. They've been struggling. He is a big part of their offense. He gets big hits for them, and he has productive at bats.
Wells with an 0-2. And Polanco, as he normally does, not afraid to hit with 2 strikes and able to hang in there. Yeah, I mean, that is not something you see a whole lot, but not that surprising for him.
Well, again, when you're confident in your abilities and what you can do at the plate, when you're also aware of how you're going to put the ball in play.
As he doesn't.
Right there, that's right. 340 when you're 0-2. You're not afraid to get down in the count 0-2. And again, he's probably just as fine early in the count as he is late in the count.
A pretty good change up there. A lot of late movement for Randy Wells as he faces Jimmy Rollins, a guy who has been quiet in this series, as has Jason Worth. You hope they remain quiet. If they want to get hot, they can get hot against the Cardinals.
That would be great. That's the perfect case scenario. You look at this Phillies lineup, and they are explosive. They can score runs. They have not done that yet in this series. You want to keep it that way.
Backhanded by Lee. Wells covering, and he dropped it. That'll keep it alive for Ryan Howard. The throw might have been slightly low. We'll get another look at it. The error will go on Wells. It was catchable. Normally, guys get a perfect feed from Derek Lee as we check out our Coors Light RoboCam.
Yeah, he just dropped it.
Yeah,
it looked like he got his left arm a little bit behind it. Squeezed it at the top of the glove. Sometimes you can squeeze it out. I mean, it's the weakest part of your glove. You want to catch everything from about your fingers down to your palm. When you kind of get it out there towards the tip, you can drop a ball, and I think you just saw it right there.
And for Wells, that's his 4th error of the season, and not a good time for it with Ryan Howard, who's already hit 3 2-run homers in this series. 1 ball, no strikes. His 20th homer yesterday. So that's 6 consecutive seasons of at least 20 homers for the majors leader in home runs since 2005. See his pace a little bit below the last 2 seasons. That's the green line, but surging here to start the second half.
Absolutely right, Len. He's a guy who can run off about 10 in a week or 10 in about 15 days, and those numbers will climb quickly. You just hope to see him do it against everybody else, get through this weekend, keep him quiet the rest of the time.
He hits over Terrio through the shift and right in front of Tyler Colvin. And we are working with Bloomberg Sports to provide some of the most in-depth and compelling data analysis baseball has ever seen. Fans can get their own set of these new state-of-the-art tools from Bloomberg. Built for fun and for fantasy play. Go to BloombergSports.com to get a preview and find out all the details. Now Jason Worth in a rough weekend, 0 for 7. 5 strikeouts. He has walked twice and scored once, and waves at a slider, strike 1.
And it's a great pitch right there by Randy Wells. You have got to have a game plan going into each and every start. You pick your guys who are hot, who are cold, guys that are swinging the bat well. Jason Worth right now, he's been checking his swing an awful lot. He has not been seeing the ball very, very well. And you come out and you throw a slider first pitch. You get him out of his comfort zone early.
Like Wells was going to be out of this top of the first in relatively routine fashion, but then he dropped the feed from Derek Lee for an error. Ryan Howard singles, and now 2 on for Worth. Pitcher's strike and a fastball, 1-2.
Now it looks like he's going to be getting those corners again today, and you're going to be able to work off of that. That's really what you want to do early in this ball game, is establish that and find out what Gary Cederstrom's going to give you behind the plate. If you can get another 2 or 3 inches off that corner, more power to you.
That's high. Well, it certainly appeared some of the Phillies position players were pretty upset with the strike zone yesterday of Marty Foster. Their manager said, you got to swing. You know the deal. It's near the strike zone with 2 strikes. You got to swing at it.
Well, again, you kind of create your own momentum. When things aren't going well, when you're not scoring runs on offense, it's easy to turn around and blame the umpire an awful lot of times. But again, you're the guy who gets in the box. You're the one with the bat in your hands, and you've got to understand what's being told to you. I mean, this crew today, throughout this series, has been very liberal with the strike zone, and that's okay. You have to make adjustments as a hitter, not to what's just going on out there on the mound, but what's going on behind you too.
2-2 on Worth. Always works deep counts. And Ben Francisco, quoted in the Philadelphia Inquirer yesterday, saying it was a brutal strike zone. Might get a talking to from MLB for that. Just missed. 3-2. The runners will get a head start.
Well, it was It was a consistent strike zone.
Really close.
That's what the Cubs hitters were telling me.
She has a good eye. And so does Jason Worth, at least on that last pitch. Runners go on the 3-2 swing and a miss. 6 strikeouts in 8 at-bats of this series for Jason Worth. They leave 2. The Cubs are coming up. Lineup written out by manager Lou Piniella. He's remained fairly consistent here this weekend with just a couple of minor tweaks. Terrio, Colvin, Lee at the top. Ramirez, the red-hot Cub, is average up to 220. Marlon Byrd in center, big home run yesterday. Soriano in left, Soto, Castro, and Wells at the bottom.
For the Philadelphia Phillies, Raul Ibanez is going to be in left field today. Shane Victorino, Jason Worth. Around the infield, Polanco, Rollins, Valdez. Mr. Howard over there at first base. Ruiz, one of the best lefties in the game. Cole Hamels is going to be on the mound.
Throw an occasional cutter that we might not have seen a couple of years ago, but for the most part, fastballs and changeups, especially against those righties. Cole Hamels, the NLCS and World Series MVP in 2008. A tough year last year, but he's been all right this season.
Well, he's been, I think, a lot better than his record would indicate. He's 7-7 on the season. I was talking to a few of their guys about Cole today, earlier this morning, and they were telling me that he really has been throwing the ball. He's been kind of a tough luck loser so far this year. And I said, well, what would you attribute his success this season? What's the big difference? And they told me that his velocity has been much, much better this year. He's throwing 92, 94 miles an hour. He's got a great change and that little bit of a cutter that you're talking about, something that's in between those two pitches that he can use to get in on righties.
It's a sign from his catcher. Fastball at 89, maybe a little cutter that time. 2 strikes to Terrio, who's had good success against this southpaw.
I think it was real big for Cole Hamels to step up this year. I think that in part that might be why letting Cliff Lee go was so easy.
Rollins will pick it up and gets it across in time to get Terrio. Well, just to even imagine the Phillies staff with Halladay and Lee in it. And I'm sure a lot of Phillies fans have done that this season. The Cubs will see Roy Halladay tomorrow night.
Well, a lot of baseball people want to ask that question. Why wouldn't you hold on to him for one more year and you team him up? But if Cole Hamels becomes that 1A or 1B starter, however you want to look at it, he fills the bill that they're looking for.
I think that certainly has been the hope. 1 strike on Tyler Colvin, who has become pretty much an everyday guy, even against lefties. Second lefty of this series. And he's in there yet again inside. 1-1. Left-handed hitter, and I know that during your career you cherished those games when you got starts against lefties, right?
Well, you do, and I feel like a lot of times you're trying to prove to everybody in the world that you can hit lefties. Like what happens at the major league level, and the biggest difference, when you're a minor leaguer, you're given every chance that there is. If you're a prospect, you're a kid coming up, they're going to let you play. But when you get up here, there's a lot more managing that goes in, a lot more matchups. And, they used to tell me, we're just going to give you your days off against the lefties.
Sometimes a self-fulfilling prophecy. 2-2, you get halfway into a season and you go, well, Todd's 3 for 19 against lefties. You go, I've had 19 at bats in 3 months.
And you want to talk about trying not to put too much pressure on yourself up there in the box when you get out there and get that chance against the lefty.
That's a fair ball for Colvin. Rolled right down the line. It'll be picked up by Ibanez, but not before Colvin has a 1-out double. Ball got away from Rollins, but backed up by the third baseman Polanco. So runner in scoring position for Derek Lee.
Great piece of hitting right here by Tyler. Just using his hands. Got that front foot down, using his hands, driving it down the line. You can get a lot of base hits that way, especially off left-handed starters, if you get that front foot down and allow yourself to stay inside the baseball. He did a real good job of that right there.
Now Derek Lee, big opener, 3 hits, including a home run, 0 for 4 yesterday. And that fastball is up, ball 1. Cole Hamels, a former first-round pick in 2002. He's from San Diego, California. Did not pitch his junior year in high school because of a broken bone in his arm.
Well, this is a real good matchup. I really felt like coming into today for this Cubs lineup. They've been beating up the lefties for the most part. I know the record doesn't tell you that, but they have hit 276 as a group on the season. That's best in baseball. Actually, I take that back. It's best in the National League. It's 4th in baseball, but they've just been doing a really, really solid job against the left-handed starters, especially of late.
Not so sure about that pitch. Two and two.
And there's that changeup that we talk about from Cole Hamels. That is the pitch he is trying to get to, the pitch that he is trying to set up. It's going to be imperative that the Cubs hitters today lay off that pitch and make him get the ball up in the zone.
Swing and a miss at the changeup for strike 3.
Well, when it's your best pitch, you're not afraid to back it up. And because he laid off the first one, he went back to it again, threw it out there over the plate. Looked like Derek was a little bit fooled by it.
That's that enticing change that caught a lot of the strike zone, but as you say, threw off Derek's time.
Now, the key to a changeup is not giving it away when you're out there on the mound, not doing anything in your delivery that would disturb your motion or your delivery for the hitter to pick up on.
Well, the guy who hit the game-winning homer in the bottom of the 8th. It was his 3rd hit of the day. And for Aramis, 5 homers over his last 8 games after hitting 3 over the previous 47. He's just not missing mistakes right now.
And there was a mistake right there. Again, that was a situation where there was back-to-back changeups as well. The first one he laid off of, the 2-2 pitch down in the dirt, that was, for me, the key to the at-bat. He laid off it. He got himself a better pitch to hit. It was up, but it was a changeup. And when you're feeling hot, anything out over the plate, boy, you can jump all over.
Well, I know 220 doesn't sound that impressive, but his average has gone up a good 40-50 points over the last couple of weeks. That's significant.
When you hit 170 for the first couple months of the season, I think you start realizing that digging yourself out of that hole is going to take small steps, not big ones.
Swing and a miss. So Hamels gets him that time, and he's throwing pretty hard. 93 on that fastball. We've completed 1, no score.
Early, the first 10,000 fans are going to receive a Cubs mouse pad. Compliments of Vegas.
Benji Molina, arguably the slowest runner in all of baseball, hit for the cycle. Tweaked a quad as he completed it with a triple. Also hit a grand slam. The Texas Rangers at Fenway Park.
I'm not sure what's more surprising, the quad or the cycle.
A 1-0 pitch on the way to Raul Ibanez, missing 2-0.
Benji Molina definitely is about as slow as they come.
Off the glove of Wells. Castro barehands throws and almost got him. So Ibanez reaches.
Well, I think Randy's going to tell you he should have had that baseball. I'm not sure if it's going to go down as a hit or an error yet, but I mean that's a play that he probably would like to have back. It's going to be a leadoff runner here, and he's going to have to work himself out of this early trouble.
So leadoff man on. It is an infield hit. And for Randy Wells, he dropped the throw for an error in the first. And couldn't put the clamps on that ground ball. Brings up Carlos Ruiz. Just a check on the runner. And a chance for me to mark off another circle on the baseball bingo card. A pickoff attempt. And I believe an infield hit will help me too. I like it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Got a lot of spaces in between, though. It's like I'm getting X's and then a space and then another X.
Just remember, Todd, if we win, we get to sit in the broadcast booth.
Again, I'll tell you, my sons, they beat my tail at.
Swing and a miss, runner going, and he's safe. A bounced throw by Soto. Castro applied the tag, but late. 0-2 on Ruiz, with Ibanez now at second base. Never looked back.
Got a pretty decent jump right there. Again, Raul Ibanez not the biggest stolen base threat, but when your offense is scuffling, again, and we've talked about this about the Cubs so many times this year, you've got to find ways to create some offense. You've got to take some chances when you get guys on base.
Two on the way. Ruiz trying to move that runner up with a late swing. And he'll get a new bat.
It's what you try to do when your offense is scuffling. You got to get back to the basics. Do the things that you're supposed to do. Recognize the situations. When things are running on all cylinders and you're feeling good and everybody's clicking and working together, I think the rules of the game of baseball loosen up a little bit. But when you're scuffling, you really need to focus on the job at hand.
Ruiz laid off. 1-2. Speaking of the Benji Molina cycle, we will go back in Cubs history to talk about a cycle coming up a little later. You'll see the triple is always the toughest. Saw Troy Tulowitzki last year hit for the cycle against the Cubs, leading it with a triple.
Well, so much of it that has to do with a lot of the ballparks that you play in. Big gaps, small gaps, balls down the line.
Called strike three, freezes him on a fastball. That's 3 strikeouts.
You seem to watch a lot of these Phillies hitters falling into the same trap, getting caught napping on the fastball end. These are good pitches that are catching an awful lot of plate right now, and they're just not pulling the trigger on these balls. These are pitches that sometimes you take maybe a little bit of a slower swing or a later swing. maybe a defensive swing and try and foul those pitches off. That's what you have to do with a pitcher's pitch, but they're not even flinching at the ball right now.
There's Wilson Valdez tapping it foul.
Now this is again one of those spots where the game gets a little interesting. Nobody's really done much. They're feeling each other out on offense, trying to get some things going. You've got the pitcher on deck. Got a runner out there in scoring position. You want to pitch to Wilson Valdez very, very carefully. You want to make your pitches. He's got a good sinker today. You'd like to see him keep that ball down in the infield, and you want to keep things stacked. I always talk about keeping the lineup moving and rolling over. I mean, ideally for the Phillies, they're going to get Cole Hamels up there, but you don't want to get Cole Hamels up there in a better situation. What I mean by that is first and third, or where Wilson Valdez is making this inning bigger than it can or should be.
Randy getting ahead of the last two guys, Ruiz and now Valdez, as he tries to put him away. Lofted foul, out of play. Another game going on right now. Detroit with an early lead at Cleveland, 3-0. Miguel Cabrera with a walk and a run. He will try to extend his career best hitting streak to 21 games today. Justin Verlander and Fausto Carmona on the mound. And the throw to third. They got him. Ibanez took off. And Randy Wells nails him at third for the second out. So the Phillies a little overly aggressive there. And sometimes you try to get a pitcher to balk on that play, but Randy Wells didn't bite.
You're right on right there, Len. That's exactly what I think he was trying to do. He's getting a huge jump. When you've got a righty on the mound, he has actually got a good view of the base runner at second base. He doesn't have to turn his head backwards to see it.
Soft liner handled by Castro, and all of a sudden that's it. The inning is over. Leadoff walk and a steal, but no runs. We're still scoreless. Tickets, visit Cubs.com, call 1-800-THE-CUBS, or visit the Wrigley Field box office. Worked out well for Randy Wells. He not only got out of the second, but he will get to face Cole Hamels in the third. But first things first, the Cubs will hit here in the second. Marlon Byrd, Alfonso Soriano, and Giovanni Soto against lefty Cole Hamels. Big game-tying two-run shot for Marlon yesterday. I love watching him around the bases. Puts his head down and sprints.
I think he's faster a lot of times on the home runs than maybe the singles. That's not a knock on Marlon. It's just that the turn's maybe a little bit bigger.
Cole Hamels 6'3", 192. 26 years old. An All-Star in 07, and then that huge postseason the year after that. And 4-0 in the 08 playoffs. Ground ball to Polanco, two-time Gold Glover over at second base, but a very versatile guy defensively. We'll go 5-3 for out number 1.
Yeah, both these pitchers right now being aggressive, going after hitters, getting ahead. We've seen an awful lot of 0-2 counts already early in this ball game. These guys are trying to work quickly, work fast. They understand that the conditions, what's going on around them, and they would definitely want to keep the ball in the yard today. So they're trying to get ahead of these hitters on this early day game.
Alfonso's face a little sore. His neck tweaked a little bit. He felt it today, didn't feel it yesterday after this catch to start the game.
Well, we certainly all appreciated the effort, even felt the effort, I suppose, to some extent. But he has just been doing such a great job out there, getting better jumps, going back on the ball so much better.
Off the end of the bat. And a little trouble here, but it'll be caught. As Ibanez not only made the catch, but kept his hat. Soriano's been working a lot with Ivan De Jesus during batting practice. Ivan just to the left of the batting cage has been hitting Soriano fly balls. He'll start hitting pretty routine flies, and then he'll start moving him right to left. We'll hit balls in front of him and then try to hit him over his head. And Ivan told me today, so he's worked really, really hard at it.
And you're seeing it during the game. And the great part about it is it's becoming habitual. He's doing it. It's becoming instinct. He's out there making plays and he's reacting. This is not where he has to go out there and tell himself to react or to think about it or to prep himself. He's making it part of who he is. He's definitely got the athletic ability to be a better outfielder than he was earlier, and you're definitely seeing it now. He's doing such a fantastic job out there.
Outside on Soto, 1-1 the count. Nice stretch here for the Cubs catcher at the plate. He's been playing a lot. A base hit to left.
Well, the key to Gio, I think, in the if you were going to kind of wrap Gio up, his catching gets real good. A lot of things are working together for him when he's swinging the bat. It's important to him. I think catchers as a whole, they sometimes have a different view. They understand that it's important to be a great defensive catcher first and foremost. I have to be there for the pitchers. I think in Gio's case, I had the privilege of playing with Mike Piazza. It was very important for him to be good at the plate, and I think it's important to Gio too. And I think his defense actually gets better when he's feeling good and being productive at home plate.
Starlin Castro, 4 hits in the series, a steal of home, and now 7 for his last 14. If you go back before the break. And that sprayed foul off to the right. He's hitting 8th. He's been basically in the 7 or 8 spot. Lou is toying with the idea of maybe getting him up near the top of the lineup, but he definitely wants to protect a 20-year-old rookie as much as he can.
Well, I think the thing with Starlin that's so important is that he has rebounded from a bad run.
Out into right center, it'll get down. Soto will make the turn, but he's going to stop as Worth with the best outfield arm for the Phillies. So 2 on with 2 down, and Randy Wells coming up.
When I talk about young guys who are coming up, trying to prove themselves, trying to establish themselves at the major league level, you have to recognize and realize you're going to struggle. You're going to go through a bad month. How are you going to rebound? How are you going to recover? Starlin's done a fantastic job. He's having a real good July. He's having a real good homestand right now, and he's swinging the bat a lot better than he was last month.
Fastball in there against Randy Wells. Career 178 hitter. 4 out of 26 on the season.
As a former catcher, you feel like you maybe should get a little bit more from Randy, but every time I see him, I say, now, you are an offensive player, you know, on your way into professional baseball. I'm expecting a little bit more from you at the plate.
Foul tip. Strike 2.
And you know what he says to me? That's why I'm pitching.
Well, that's usually what the answer is. That was a career average of 178. I don't think it's that far off of what his minor league average was.
Well, he's certainly done a real good job on the mound. Much more so than he probably would have expected of himself when he was in the minor leagues. You know, it's such an interesting place to be. I mean, not having experienced that, but to be a position player and then evolve into a starting pitcher and have success at the major league level. I mean, at no point in his life I'd have to believe he even thought that was possible.
Low and in to make it 2-2. Swing and a miss to end the inning. 2 2-out singles, but no runs. So we'll head to the third from Wrigley. 0-0. Place to go for the best local sports news and highlights. That's Sports Night every night at 6:30, 10, 10:30, and midnight. For breaking news, highlights, and exclusive interviews with the athletes you care about, tune into Sports Night every night at 6:30, 10, 10:30, and midnight, right here on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Cole Hamels fouls away as we are underway in the third. Career homers, 15 knocked in for Hamels. It's a sinker outside, 1-1. Wells today, Tom Gorzolani tomorrow night against Roy Halladay, and the Cubs gave Carlos Silva the most rest in between starts. We'll go Monday to open that Houston series.
Well, the Cubs have really done a good job putting themselves in position with this series by winning the first 2 ball games. You've got Hamels today. You've got Roy Halladay tomorrow. I mean, you're talking about 2 of the probably top 10 starters in the National League going back-to-back. You know that you're going to have to battle today. You're going to have to battle tomorrow to get a win. Hopefully 2 wins. The Cubs are in a position where they need to start piling up those wins. But to win a series, if you look at it and you break it down a little bit smaller, you say, well, let's win those first 2 ball games. The Cubs did just that.
Gio went through every sign. Looked like Wells had decided on a changeup, but at that point Hamels said, you know what, guys, enough's enough. Start this over. Gio will start with a changeup. Wells says, okay, I like it. And it worked.
Payback.
Four strikeouts the first time through the order. Back to the top and switch hitting Shane Victorino.
both Randy and Cole have established their changeups down in the zone today, doing a good job of setting it up, getting ahead of hitters. That's what's the key is. When you have a pitch like a changeup, a straight change, and you don't tip it out there on the mound and you feel like you've got a good one that day, you want to set it up. As a hitter, that's the whole idea. You're trying to deceive them, but you can't deceive them repeatedly. It's not like a knuckleball where you can just continually throw it. It has to be set up, and usually by getting ahead in the count, it puts you in a position where you can use that.
Victorino flying to right to lead off the game. Big night in Cincinnati is right-hander Edinson Volquez will make his season debut for the Reds. Won 17 in 08. The Tommy John surgery last August 3rd and a base hit. And Victorino with a big turn, and he's going to try to get to second. He's tagged out, and the Phillies have run into a couple of outs early.
Well, again, trying to be a little bit too aggressive. Alfonso Soriano, one of the best arms in the outfield in the National League, on spot, watching exactly what was going on in front of him. This was I have to say that the percentages on this risk were very, very low, especially for a left fielder who's watching everything that's going on in front of him. He could come in, field that ball, keep his eye on the base runner. It's not what you want to teach your kids at home, but as a major league player, you kind of have a feel for what's going on in the bases as you're fielding that ground ball. Comes up, makes a great throw to second base.
And Starlin Castro was completely fooled by that ground ball. He went to his left, anticipating a ball up the middle, and it was rolled right behind him. Really out of position.
That's right. 2 hard steps to his left. That wasn't even one. It almost surprising because that ground ball was just a little bit in the hole. That wasn't really between the, as Tony Gwynn would call it, the 5.5. That was more of a straight on 6, and he got himself out of position. But again, Victorino takes the chance, and we're able to erase the out, or erase the runner.
2-1. Victorino, I think, was trying the sneak attack. And the Cubs nailed him. Soriano with his 5th outfield assist of the year.
Now that's a play that can work. The key for the base runner right there is if you watch the outfielder. If the outfielder drops his head, if he drops his hat to where he's watching the ground, you can take that chance sometimes. But on Alfonso Soriano's arm, I'm not sure if that's a risk I'm willing to take.
It's low, 3-2 to Polanco. Jimmy Rollins on deck. And a pop-up. Foul territory, but plenty of room for D. Lee. Randy Wells hasn't given up anything through 3. Cubs will bat in the bottom of the 3rd. Beautiful day in Chicago. 0-0.
Astros next Wednesday, July 21st. Game time is 1:20. Be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 fans are going to receive a Cubs keychain, compliments of Chevy.
Top of the Cubs order for the second time against left-hander Cole Hamels. Swing and a miss as we play Cubs baseball bingo, courtesy of Comcast Sportsnet. So doing okay. Got an assisted ground out still to go. Tough one might be the runs, 12 or more runs combined, as Rollins throws out Ryan Theriot for the second time. Manager enters fair territory. That will likely be later in the game. Player steps on the warning track.
Should happen, just hasn't happened. Just hasn't happened yet.
What tough ones do you have?
I have the ball has got to touch the ivy in fair territory.
That's somewhat likely.
I've got a fan who's got to toss a home run ball onto the field. I'm not actually rooting for that one.
Yeah, that would generally be a Philly home run.
But for the most part, I've got ones that should happen, just really haven't happened yet.
1-1 on Tyler Colvin. He doubled in the first and would end up being stranded there as Hamels would strike out Leon Ramirez to get out of it. Easy play for Valdez. 2 down. Some other news from around baseball. We mentioned Edinson Volquez coming back from the DL. Remember, he also served a 50-game suspension for violating the performance-enhancing drug policy, but he served it while injured. So that's why he is able to come back and pitch against the Rockies tonight. The Reds beat them last night 3-2. Derek Lee, deep to left, not deep enough. And Ibanez makes the grab. After 3, still scoreless.
Fourth meal from Taco Bell, open 1 a.m. or later.
Good to see the Menards grounds crew taking care of the infield in between innings. No score, Jimmy Rollins, strike 1 from Randy Wells. Each team with 3 hits. Castro. High throw, tag applied, and Rollins is out.
Nice play
adjustment there by Derek.
I was going to say, nice play by Derek Lee right there. He's so smooth over there. He's got great range, gets to the bag. He gives you a great big target. That's the one thing that I heard so many infielders tell me over our years together, was that it's so much fun to have a big target there at first base, and a guy who's athletic as well, who can go get the ball and make a play like you saw right there, going high and still being able to apply the tag.
Look from our shutter cam. And behind first base is Ryan Howard, gets hit.
Doesn't seem too happy about it.
No, he doesn't. Well, he's had a huge series, and Andy Wells trying to work him inside. See where it got him.
Well, circumstance tells you that yeah, he is very, very hot. He is the one hitter in this Phillies lineup who has been swinging the bat very, very well here on these warm days in Chicago. And well, I suppose we could have got him in a worse spot.
Just above the right elbow. Short lead by Howard is Worth. Takes ball one. Randy Wells telling Ryan Howard, my bad.
Yeah. As so many of us know, Ryan Howard wants to get his arms extended. You've got to pitch to both sides of the plate against him, and that's going to happen. He's got to understand that. I don't believe it was a purpose pitch, or that he was trying to save his bullets and get him early, or pitch around him in any way, shape, or form. It's just one of those pitches that got away, a hard slider cutter that got inside and caught him on the elbow. But again, Randy Wells does not want to lock himself into one side of the plate against Ryan Howard, who's really, really warm right now, really hot.
2-0 to Worth, and a base hit through that aforementioned 5.5 hole. And for Worth, I think a little relief at the way this second half has started.
Well, again, this is a mistake out over the plate from Randy Wells. A little bit of an off-speed pitch. I think it was his changeup right there that he threw. That's a slider that didn't do much, folks. That's sometimes the best vitamin you can get as a hitter, is an off-speed pitch out of over the plate when you're not feeling good up there. Definitely a mistake by Randy. That's where he does not want to make mistakes, but it's going to be imperative that he manages the inning right now. He's got some runners on. This is the second time through the lineup.
Ibanez with an infield single, a steal, and then got a little too greedy as he took off for third and was caught by the pitcher Wells. Cubs would love to turn a double play here and get out of the inning. Just missed, 1-1.
Now this is where his sinker ball is really going to come into play. He wants to keep that ball down on the infield, in the ground, on the ground. Get a big out right here, big double play.
All four hits for the Phillies have been singles. Also helped by Randy Wells' error early in the hit batter. Knocked down by Lee. He's going to have time to take it unassisted. So they get Ibanez second and third, now 2 outs.
Well, he's going to have to continue to make his pitches. He got the ball that he wanted. The ball in the infield, had a chance to turn to. Derek Lee knocks it down, only to get the out at first base. But again, making pitches that he wants to make. He's got his ball working down in the zone today, and he's keeping the ball on the ground.
So he'll face Ruiz with 2 in scoring position. Took a called third his first time up. Ruiz came off the DL last weekend. He was on the shelf because of a concussion. And a fly ball. Marlon Byrd out in right center will put 2 hands on it. Flips it to Colvin. Inning over. The Phillies have stranded 4 through 4, and we're still scoreless. Of achievement is rarer, pitching a no-hitter or hitting for the cycle. Well, I think the big question is, what is more common in general in Major League history? My guess would be cycles are more common than no-hitters.
Well, you'd like to think so, because, again, you look at, 4-hit games, those happen an awful lot more. Obviously hitting for the cycle. The big hit in all that's the triple. And again, we were talking about that a little bit earlier. How the ballpark dictates an awful lot of that. It's where you play. Do you have a spacious outfield? Is it a smaller ballpark? When I played Dodger Stadium, it was one of the hardest ballparks in the world to hit a triple in because the gaps weren't that big. It was more built with the understanding that a marine layer would come in and Dodger Stadium would become this pitcher's park at night. We played an awful lot of night games. It really was hard to hit a triple. You almost had to have an outfielder dive for a ball and miss it.
Well, I'm going to guess, just because we have not seen a cycle by a Cub since 1993, that we've had more no-hitters than cycles. That's just a pure guess on my part. The 3-0 to Ramirez, taking all the way right at the knees for a strike. Outside, ball 4. It's a leadoff walk. The Land Rover high performance this month. Aramis Ramirez with 18 hits, including 5 homers, 5 doubles, and 45 at bats. Tom, you had 22 career triples. I do not recall you hitting for the cycle. How close did you get?
I never did. I had a 5-hit game early in my career, but I think I had maybe a triple. I think I was missing the double. But again, playing half my career out on the West Coast, that really was the case. A lot of those ballparks are very, very similar in their dimensions and how they play, and you realize that lofted fly balls or even long fly balls on the West Coast at night more times than not get run down, and you almost had to hit that odd hit against the shift or something that got a ball to the wall and there was nobody there to field it to give yourself a shot at a triple.
Big cut by Marlon Byrd, 1-1. He's not trying to move up a runner with that swing, trying to do some damage.
Well, Cubs 5 home runs in the first two games of this series. Marlon's one of the guys who's got one of them. I know that these guys are feeling a little bit better at the plate collectively. You get the leadoff walk. This might be the inning that the Cubs bust out right here.
Off the plate inside. with a look at Mike Quaddy down at third base. Long look by Hamels. Now he's set. Chest high with a glove and a swing and a miss. 2-2.
Well, there's that changeup again from Cole Hamels, setting up well. He challenged Marlin early in this at bat with fastballs in, went after him a little bit. But again, we talk about how you have to set that changeup and try to deceive the hitter, deceive his eyes. He does it right there. Marlin swings through on a hitter's count, a 2-1 pitch, swings through a changeup.
Stay alive on a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Is not a threat to run on a straight steal. In fact, he does not have a stolen base attempt on the season. Short lead over there, and another foul by Bird.
Folks at home, you're watching the game inside the game right now. The battle that goes on between the pitcher and the hitter. Marlon Bird very well aware that Cole Hamels' best pitch is that changeup. You almost have to think backwards a little bit with him to guard against it. So that's why you're seeing some tardy swings on that fastball, is that he's actually doing his best to guard against two pitches. You know, scouts and hitters amongst themselves be talking an awful lot about, you know, is he the type of hitter? Is he a guess hitter? And I would always say, who really isn't a guess hitter? You try to make an educated guess as to what you're going to see with this next pitch, but when you get yourself to 2 strikes, you have to kind of go into that defense mode, that strike mode, put the ball in play.
Marlin giving a lot of fans down that first baseline a souvenir today. Still 2-2. Just trying to break the seal on this one. No score in the 4th.
You just gave me a circle on my bingo card.
I like it.
Foul ball caught.
Just missed. Boy, Hamels really wanted it. 3-2.
Great at bat by Marlon Bird right here. You talk about wearing Cole Hamels down, making him throw pitches, show his hand. This can be a long inning if the Cubs can capitalize. Keep him out there for a while and get his pitch count up.
Hamels ready for what will be the 10th pitch of this at bat. Ramirez not running, another foul. This time into the upper deck.
Day like today, most starting pitchers want to pace themselves. They want to get out there and have quick innings, much like you saw Cole Hamels. I think it was a couple innings ago, 6 pitches. That's what they're looking for. If you can get them out there, get them tired, they're going to fatigue quicker on these hot days.
And a center, a base hit. What an at-bat. An 11-pitch AB. 6 foul balls, and the at-bat ends with a solid single into center.
Well, again, with the more pitches that you see, Marlon Bird does a great job staying back through the middle. The more pitches that you see, the more likely you're going to get a mistake. And Cole Hamels was down. He was out over the plate. You saw Marlon fouling those pitches off to the right side, swinging a little bit tardy. But at the same time, he's seeing more and more pitches. Now Cole Hamels' pitch count is up. He's got nobody out, and he's got runners on first and second.
Soriano showing bunt. Did it on his own earlier this year, much to the shock of everybody in the ballpark, including his manager.
Well, he was successful, and I think his teammates were very appreciative of the effort. He's not a guy that you're going to look to often to sacrifice bunt, but when a team is scuffling, and he was scuffling at the time, it's not a bad play. You want to keep that in your bag. You want to practice those things in spring training, so that when you go through those times you're not feeling so good, you're at least comfortable up there trying to do something that's going to help your team out on offense.
Kick and the 1-1 ground ball to third. Polanco, Valdez, out. It's a 5-4-3 double play. 2 down.
Well, able to get in on Alfonso Soriano's hands and keep the ball down. Win-win situation right there for Cole Hamels. That's what you want. You want the hitter to hit the ball hard to one of your infielders so that they can get it around quickly, and they do just that.
Runner at third, and Soto takes it high, ball 1. So the only good news there is that ball didn't lead Polanco right to third base. He might have had a shot at 3. Way inside, 2-0. This has a little room to work with here with a couple of bases open. Castro on deck. Starlin remaining hot. With a base hit his first time up. With a 2-0 change and got a swing and a miss. Got to figure Soto's looking for a fastball and didn't get it.
No, and that's exactly what's going on right there. He gets the double play. He's recovered out there on the mound. That's what he wants to do. He felt the heat. He felt the pressure. His pitch count was going up. He needed to make some pitches. You saw it right there. Falls behind 2-0. He's able to throw the changeup down, out, over the plate. I talk about that to get the hitter to swing at it, feed off his aggressiveness, change speeds, and fool him.
Ball 4. Second walk of the inning.
Struggling with his command right now. Cubs hitters are being patient. They're taking what he's giving, and which is not a lot. He's been around the plate. Marlon Byrd had a great at bat, got the base hit to center field with the 2 walks. He's struggling with his location right now.
Pitching coach Rich Doobie out to the mound with runners at the corners. We have a moment. Let's answer our AT&T trivia question. Which Cub achievement is more rare, pitching a no-hitter or hitting for the cycle? 17 no-hitters, 11 cycles, the last of which came in 1993 by first baseman Mark Grace. And on this date, 1966, game 2 of a doubleheader. The natural cycle for Billy Williams, a single, the double, the triple, and he completed it with a home run.
Well, I'm sure Billy would tell you that was a day that just kept getting better and better and better as it went along.
Cubs 7-2 win. That was then new Busch Stadium, 1966. 1-0 on Starlin Castro. Swing and a miss. Elias reporting. In the modern era, which goes back to 1900, there have been more cycles than no-hitters. Almost 250 cycles and just over 200 no-nos. Sharply hit ground ball right at Wilson Valdez. He'll flip from his knee to Jimmy Rollins, and the Cubs strand 2. 4 complete, 0-0 from the friendly confines.
$9.95. If you were the 500 texture, you could win $5 footlong subs from Subway.
It's like the Wrigleyville subway, pretty busy today. No score as we get into the fifth. 8-9-1 for the visitors. Phillies looking for their first win of the second half after the Cubs got them Thursday night. And again yesterday in a thrilling 4-3 come from behind win. A strike on a slider to Valdez. Best wishes for a speedy recovery to Emily Hitsky, former Wrigley Field usher at Loyola University Medical Center. Base hit gets past Terrio. So Emily recovering from surgery. We hope you're feeling a lot better. Sets up nicely for the Phillies as Cole Hamels will now be asked to lay down what would be his third sack hit of the year and move Valdez into scoring position. And he bunts through, strike one.
Nice first pitch right there by Randy, an exploding sinker off the outside corner. Sometimes you can work with this. If you can get ahead of Cole Hamels right here, you can maybe get yourself a punch out or a pop up if you can get him to go after something you've got moving away from him or up in the zone.
Also, belated happy birthday wishes to longtime Cub fan Vito Birdie of Westchester, Illinois. That's foul. 1-2.
It's a good spot right here. You see Giovanni Soto going out to the mound. Talk to Randy Wells. This is a spot right here where you really want to make a pitch. You're ahead of Cole Hamels. It's very clear what he's trying to do. He's trying to lay down a sac bunt. You don't want to just give up here. You've worked yourself ahead in the count. You want to make a good pitch right here and get maybe that pop-up that I was talking about or a strikeout right there and keep Wilson Valdez on first base. Don't let this inning just set itself up because of circumstance.
And he went after the slider that dropped off the table, and he couldn't get it.
Nice slider right there, bottoming out over the plate. Something, again, attracts the hitter's eyes, but ends up at the bottom of the zone. Very, very difficult pitch to bunt. Cole Hamels goes for it, ends up with a strikeout. It was a good meeting that they had out there with Gio Soto. That's what we when I was
always
playing.
A good meeting.
Well, we used to talk about good meetings and bad meetings.
It's all dictated by the result.
That's right.
Marlon Byrd as Soriano peels off, 2 outs.
We used to chatter in the baseball chatter in the dugout. We would be sitting there talking about a pitching coach. You get a couple guys down. The pitching coach would go out there to the mound and give a message to the pitcher, and the next pitch gets hit off the wall. I mean, what was that message? What could it possibly have been? Because nothing good came of it.
First game off the DL for Polanco, 0 for 2. Phillies will not get Chase Utley back until, let's say, at least late August, maybe even into early September. He'd like to be back sooner than later, coming off thumb surgery.
This is a Phillies team that has struggled with the loss of Polanco and Utley, and I think right now they're a team trying to figure out their direction as well. Nobody has run away with the National League East, but this is the Phillies team, much like the Cubs, that has been playing kind of some inconsistent baseball, and it's very hard to define whether they're going to be buyers or sellers.
Terrio will take the play first as he gets Polanco halfway home on a Saturday afternoon. No score. Again, the wind not blowing out like it had the first 2 days of this series, and the pitchers making pitches when they need to.
Well, that's exactly what they both wanted to do. Come out, be aggressive early in the count, make pitches, set up their changeup, set up their off-speed pitches. They found a lot of success early swinging, a lot of early outs. At the same time, they've been getting ahead of hitters and being able to set up that changeup for both of these guys.
Andy Wells has given up 1 hit per inning, but no runs. Same for Cole Hamels as he starts the 5th against his counterpart. The 0-1 pitch, fouled back. 0-2. Cleveland coming back against Detroit, 3-2 Tigers in the 5th. In Cleveland, Hamels will lob it to Ryan Howard for the out. Watch the Cubs take on the Cardinals, who are back Friday, July 23rd at Wrigley Field. That's next week. Game time 1:20. Be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 adults 21 and older get a Cubs white t-shirt, compliments of Bud Light. Former Cub Kerry Wood placed on the disabled list by the Indians today with a finger blister. This is the 14th career stint on the DL for Woody. Some talk about a possible deal. Somebody wanted Kerry Wood to help out their bullpen. Well, that'll have to wait for at least a couple of weeks. Two balls, no strikes. Ryan Theriot. Right to Polanco. Barely had to move. And he throws him out. Cubs minor league report. Good to see Jeff Samardzija continue to pitch well. He's 6-1 with Iowa with a .285. Josh Vitter's one of the Cubs' top prospects. Season high 3 extra base hits as Tennessee won its 4th consecutive game. And Michael Brenly continues his hitting streak up to 15 games for Daytona. Hak-Ju Lee at shortstop for the Peoria Chiefs, 5 for 5. As the Chiefs have won 3 in a row. One strike on Tyler Colvin.
Both of these guys are really rolling right now. First pitch strikes, going after hitters, being aggressive. All the confidence is out on the mound for both of these guys today. And until I think they maybe find themselves in some situations with some runners on base in less than 2 outs, runners in scoring position, they really have not felt the heat today. Been able to make pitches to get themselves out of some small jams, but nothing too big.
Big cut and a miss, 1-2.
Not afraid to throw the changeup to the lefty. Tyler Colvin, a lot of left-handed starters around baseball, very apprehensive about doing that a lot of times because they don't want to miss out over the plate with an off-speed pitch and speed a left-handed bat up. Cole Hamels, his changeup is his best pitch. He's trying to set it up. He will throw it to lefties and to righties as well.
First time Hamels has faced the Cubs in 2 seasons. 3-1 lifetime with a .261. Has been better against the Cubs at Citizens Bank Park than here at Wrigley Field. And Colvin with a half swing, but it counts, and that's a strikeout as they go down quietly in the 5th. Still nothing after 5.
for Everything Cubs. Catch Lou's post-game remarks after every game. Get behind-the-scenes access with in-depth stories, insider vlogs, and exclusive video. Visit csnchicago.com, your internet home for Everything Cubs.
Glenn Casper, Todd Hollinsworth in for Bob Brentley today. 1-0 on Jimmy Rollins. Make it 2 balls, no strikes. This is a tough part of the order with Howard and Worth to follow. Randy Wells trying to keep this game scoreless here in the 6th.
Well, he's definitely done his part today. Kept the Philadelphia Phillies at bay, making pitches in big spots. Giving up a few hits here or there, but that's typical Randy Wells baseball. There always seems to be a few runners out there, but he's very good at managing his innings.
The 3 final starts of the first half: a win, a loss, and no decision. But went at least 6 innings, gave up no more than 3 earned runs in any of those starts. Dueling today with Cole Hamels as Rollins will ground out to Ryan Theriot. Don't want to make you nervous, but coming up in the 7th, you will conduct the 7th inning stretch. So we got you working overtime today, Todd. That's not work, though. That's the cherry on the sundae.
They're certainly getting their money's worth, right?
So we look forward to that.
I will be able to answer the question, which is more difficult, broadcast booth or singing the 7th? All at the same time.
1-0 on Ryan Howard, who has singled and been hit by a pitch. It's a huge series.
He is the one guy who has been consistently swinging the bat well for this Philadelphia Phillies lineup. When he gets hot, you do not want to make mistakes out over the plate. He can take anybody deep at any time to any part of the ballpark. It's a gift. He's been blessed. I think many hitters, myself included, wished we had the kind of power that Mr. Howard possesses.
Many of us would like to have his contract, too.
Well, I would agree with you there.
$25 million extension in April. Signed now through 2016. He grounds out.
It's in the Powerball Mega Millions range, right?
Yes, that's right. He's got to work for it, though. For the next half decade. Text passes to B-Hawks. That's 242-957 to join Blackhawks Mobile and be entered to win a pair of weekend passes and a 2-night stay at this year's Blackhawks convention at the Hilton Chicago, July 30th through August 1st. That's passes to 242-957 for an all-access pass to see the 2010 Stanley Cup champions. Low and in. Worth has worked some pretty good hitters' counts, but has rarely been able to take advantage of it so far in this series. A single the last time up, the only hit so far this weekend.
Very patient hitter, very disciplined hitter for a man who's big. He's got long arms, obviously looks to get extended. When he doesn't give that up. You watch a lot of hitters, when they start feeling good at the plate, they want to be more aggressive at the plate. Jason really doesn't get away from his game plan, which is being a very patient hitter. Get himself into hitters' counts, force the pitcher to give him a better pitch to hit out over the plate. Very disciplined.
With 3-1 on the way, and it's fouled off. 3-2.
Home run swing from Jason right there on a 3-1 pitch. Good idea by Randy to get something that was working away from him.
Worth was born in Springfield, Illinois. And Randy Wells from Belleville. The guys from downstate. Two with 2 outs. Jason says he watched the Cubs a fair amount growing up, but really followed the American League more because his uncle Dick Schofield spent a lot of his career in the AL. Stepfather Dennis Worth, parts of 4 seasons with the Yankees in Kansas City, and that's drilled deep to left center off the ivy. And Worth will motor into second with a sliding two-base hit. Now the good news is it didn't get out. But extra base power from Jason Worth.
Well, you wonder what the meeting going into that right there on the 3-2 pitch. This is a changeup that wasn't a terrible pitch, but again, Jason Worth, great arms, great extension, who's not seeing the baseball really, really well right now. That's the best thing that you can do. When you're struggling at the plate, you're not catching up with fastballs, you almost kind of try to work to an off-speed count. Reason being, it gives you some more time to see the ball, to maybe regain some of that confidence with your eyes. He was able to do that right there. Solid changeup that's coming in 84 miles an hour. He's able to keep his hands back and then work his extension and not have to work around a sinking fastball in on his hands.
They will intentionally walk at Banez. And face Carlos Ruiz. You pick your battles. Ruiz 1 out of 9 so far in the series, and a right-handed hitter. There's ball 4. Andy Wells facing the Phillies for the first time in his career. The guys with previous at-bats or Ben Francisco and Brian Schneider with other clubs.
I thought it was a real good idea to put a Raul Ibanez on first base right there. He's had some success against Carlos early in this ball game today. He's got a good idea what he wants to do, and hopefully he'll be able to duplicate it.
And Ruiz able to hold up. Concussion Ruiz suffered. He got hit in the head by the barrel of Jason Kubel's bat about a month ago against Minnesota. He said he was a bit nervous jumping back behind the dish during his rehab assignment, but eventually got over it. Took a foul off the mask, which scared him, but that's part of the job when you're a big league catcher. Missed again, 3-0. Valdez on deck.
He's going to want to work himself back into this count. Hopefully get a strike right here.
And now a step off as Terrio has snuck in behind the runner Worth at second.
Kind of sense Randy pacing himself a little bit right now. He's struggling out there to find the plate to Carlos right now. This is a real big at bat, especially as we move into the later innings.
Long pause before the 3-0. It's a strike. Ruiz is a converted second baseman. A lot of guys go from catcher to other spots, but he went from second to behind the plate. From Panama. And he takes ball 4 as Wells missed on a slider. Here comes Valdez and also Larry Rothschild, the Cubs pitching coach, out to the mound.
Well, not a lot of offense today. The Phillies have now loaded the bases with 2 outs here. Top of the 6th inning. This is an opportunity if they can get themselves a big hit from Wilson Valdez to get on the scoreboard. But Randy's struggling with the strike zone right now. Larry's going to head out there, hopefully deliver one of those good messages for a good meeting out there on the mound.
Watch Comcast Sportsnet Cubs game replays on demand with Xfinity TV from Comcast. Don't miss the action. Call 1-800-XFINITY today. All this happening after 2 are out, as Worth doubled off the wall in left center, intentionally walked Ibanez, and then unintentionally walked Carlos Ruiz.
Well, I think if you sum up Randy, through the course of his early career, especially this season, this is one of those innings where he's had some problems. Now, lately, he's done a real good job of working out of his jams. He seems to get into them a couple, 2-3 times a ball game. But he's in a position now where he's going to have to make some pitches. When he was struggling earlier in the year, he would get himself in these positions, and that's when he could not make the pitch. He was missing out over the plate. He had some mechanical issues, and when he does, at 88, 89 miles an hour and a sinker that's not working down in the zone, you become very hittable, and he has to hit his spots. It's imperative for him to make pitches on the corners.
He's ahead 0-2. Valdez aggressive in this spot. And a bunch of 2-out base runners for the Phillies, and this big crowd starting to make some noise as they want to see Randy Wells get out of it.
Like the approach Randy's taking. He's pounding him in on the hands with that sinker, 91 miles an hour. What he's doing is he actually missed in his second at bat. Wilson lined it back up the middle for a base hit, but he hasn't gotten away from the game plan. And the game plan against Wilson Valdez is pound him in with fastballs, soft stuff away, but he's forcing him to adjust his swing by continually pounding him in, and I think it's a real good move on his part.
A problem for Derek Lee. Maybe. Got it. Whoa. Well, that roller was not very fast, and Valdez almost beat the throw to Randy Wells. They strand the bases loaded. Well, this ball looked routine at first, but it ended up being a very close play. Good call. They got him. 0-0.
counts have made pitches and pitchers counts. There's been an awful lot of strikeouts on both sides, and there's been some defensive swings today. Really surprising, honestly.
The wind has shifted. We started with a slight northwest breeze, technically a crosswind from left to right. Now it's coming out of the, looks like the southeast as a roller into left starts the Cubs' sixth. Perfectly placed.
Well, there's that 5.5 hole again. Nice job by Derek Lee staying on the baseball. Cole Hamels had such a really good changeup today. I know a lot of these Cubs hitters, despite the count, have been very, very aware of it. That's why you're seeing an awful lot of foul balls off to the offside of the hitters outside of Tyler Cole, and all these right-handed batters fouling balls off to the right-hand side, because when you're throwing 92, 93, 94 miles an hour, that's a huge advantage. But when you pair that with an 83, 84 mile an hour changeup that you throw, and you really reveal no deception. I mean, it's not, you're not tricking or giving, I should say, giving yourself away to the hitter. You've had no problem. You're very confident throwing it back to back in any count. It puts the hitter in a very
this one's going to drift foul. Again, the wind is going to push everything a little bit to the left.
That's right. It puts the hitter in a position where he has to guard against both of those pitches despite the count, no matter what the count is, because you don't want to get down 0-2. Hitters don't want to strike out. They want to have good at-bats and put the ball in play and find that barrel. And when you've got two pitches that you can use, and you watch Cole Hamels really do that today, the ability to throw it at any time in the at-bat, you can be so much more effective. You've got the hitter thinking about a lot more things in the box.
Oh, 2, and he struck him out. Got him on a fastball. For 5 for Hamels. Giovanni Soto's favorite post-game destination for a great burger is Harry Carey's Tavern. Visit Harry Carey's Tavern in Wrigleyville or Navy Pier, the official home plate of the Chicago Cubs. Call 773-HOLY-COW or visit HarryCareysTavern.com. Pitch to Marlon Byrd. A little bit high. Derek Lee, guy you used to be able to count on 15 to 20 stolen bases. Not so much the last couple of years. I think he'd like to run a little bit more, but only 3 attempts so far on the season. He's 1 out of 3.
Well, this is the one guy I think you want up there in this situation. You do have a runner on first base, Derek. He does still run pretty well. Yes, the stolen base attempts are down, but Marlon had a great last at bat. He saw everything that Cole had to offer. The good changeup, even mixed in the cutter / slider. His fastball away, fought it all off, lined a single to center field. He's got to feel very, very confident about this at bat right now.
2-1. Hamels in his last start went into the 8th. Did not give up a run against the Reds. He has gone at least 7 each of his last 3 times out. Joe Blanton went 7 yesterday in a no decision. And Jamie Moyer could only give Charlie Manuel 3 in the opener Thursday night. A lot of bullpen in that one. Up the middle, off the mound, past a diving Jimmy Rollins. Lee will hold at second. Another multi-hit performance for Marlon Byrd. He's 2 for 3.
He's heating up again. That's a curveball right there that caught a little too much of the plate. Tried backing him up to Marlon Byrd. Got ahead, was able to even the count on the 2-1 pitch with a curveball. Threw it again. Why? Because Marlon Byrd has done just about everything as far as fouling that changeup off today. It is definitely Cole Hamels' bread and butter, pitch the one that he wants to go to, but he went to pitch number 3 because I believe the at-bat Marlin had in his second at-bat where he really battled him against the fastball and the changeup.
Only Martin Prado has more multi-hit games in the National League than Marlon Byrd's 36. Oh, 0-1 to Soriano. Outside, 1-1. Cubs chasing the Reds and the Cardinals right now, tied with Milwaukee for 3rd in the Central, 9 games back. High in the air, pretty well hit. Victorino going back, and he will have room to make the catch. He was trying to get set up for a potential tag situation. He almost dropped the ball. He and Jason Worth crisscrossed, and Victorino's very fortunate he made that grab. He was trying to get behind the ball.
Well, Jason's going to cut in front of him at the same time. I believe this ball might have been affected by the wind a little bit. You see it kind of knocks it down. He catches it with his arms extended, outfielders. And that's not what you want to do. You want to get yourself in a little better spot. Give him some credit for staying with it and using the athleticism. But that is a tough way to catch a ball, and I'm sure that's not something you want to practice. But I'm sorry.
It looked like he almost hyperextended his wrist.
Well, the ball was moving, and then you kind of get some objects going on around there. You've got the sun, you've got the wind, and then Jason Worth. You've got another outfielder who's coming across. Communication can be tough here at Wrigley, especially as a visiting player if the bleacher fans are doing their part in their job each and every day.
Strike on Soto, who has reached twice. Swing and a miss.
This is one park where you can get some circus catches.
Again, it's just about getting it done. Doesn't matter how it looks aesthetically.
Elements are a big part of what goes on here at Wrigley Field.
Late swing by Soto. Watch his left wrist, right? Oh, man. Pretty awkward. Derek did not tag. Not as big a deal with 1 out. He still is in scoring position with 2. So Ruiz shuffled toward the outside corner just as the pitch was being thrown. I stole my hat. Gilligan's cap. Got inside corner. And as he freezes him on a fastball, the Cubs lead 2. And we'll go to the 7th. We still have not seen a run today. Wonderful Comcast Sportsnet sponsors, along with Phil Bedella and the great Comcast Sportsnet sales staff, enjoying the game from the seats out and right. Getting a lot of sun today as they cheer on the Cubs. And Cole Hamels will take the at bat, leading off the top of the 7th in a 0-0 tie. Victorino and Polanco. And I know Todd Hollandsworth is hoping for a quick 1-2-3 before he sings the stretch.
Oh, this is where you ice yourself, right?
Ball strike. Fastball at 88. Sean Marshall is up. Wells has hit both corners. 0-2. One extra base hit for each team. A Tyler Colvin double in the first inning, and then Jason Worth with a 2-base hit in the 6th. That's been it. Everything else singles.
Not much action today. Again, some jams. Both of these guys got themselves into it. It wasn't because they were getting hit hard. There was a hit batter. There was a base on balls. Both of these guys have been around the plate when they have had to go to the stretch. They've made pitches. They've stayed ahead. They both have managed their pitch counts very, very well today. Tip your hat to these guys. A day where we thought there would be an awful lot more offense and probably the ball flying out of the yard. These guys have stepped up and made pitches.
Wide in the 2-2. Picked up by Castro at short. A good strike to D. Lee. Coming up Tuesday, the Cubs host the Astros here at Wrigley Field. Game time 7:05, but be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 fans will get a Cubs rally towel, compliments of Gatorade. Kind of an interesting situation with the Astros rotation. You would expect Roy Oswalt to have started the second half, but that was not the case. Brett Myers pitched last night as Houston beat the Pirates. Oswalt will go tomorrow, and then the following start will be at home as well. He is one win away from tying Joe Niekro for the Astros all-time lead in wins, and he'd like to break that record if possible at home. So he will not pitch against the Cubs at Wrigley here in a few days. That's a break for the home team.
He's been throwing the ball real well, and that's the one thing that's been going right in Houston has been their starting rotation. They've been throwing the ball as a unit pretty decent.
Victorino bounces it up the middle, and he is absolutely a stolen base threat, especially in a scoreless tie late. The Wells will have to keep a close watch on a guy with 17 steals, as Polanco digs in for the 4th time.
You know, Len, Houston being another one of those teams, the team that you expect to beat. This is a team that on paper the Cubs are better almost man for man. You've got Houston coming in again. You're not looking past this Phillies series, but you talk about any hope of this Cubs team coming back or rebounding or getting themselves to 500. That Houston series is going to be a big one.
Cubs are just 2-4 against the Astros and 3-9 versus the Pirates, the two teams behind them in the standings. There goes Victorino. Here's a throw to second. Right on the bag. They get him. Victorino getting up slowly. 2 down. He's kind of limping it off.
Great throw right here from Giovanni Soto. Quick feet, quick hands, great release. Ball right on the bag. Shane Victorino slides into the tag.
So 3rd out the Phillies have made at 2nd or 3rd. Plays that were not force plays. Bounced up the middle. Castro ranging. Here comes a stretch with Todd Hollandsworth.
Conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game is former Chicago Cub and Comcast Sportsnet analyst Todd Hollingsworth.
All right, Cubs fans, let me hear ya. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jacks. I don't care if I ever get back. Root for the Phillies. It's a shame, but it's 1, 2, 3 strikes you out at the old ball game. Let's get some runs. Come on, Cubs fans, let's go.
Good hands play. Remember this one? June 13th, 2004. Casey Kochman against the Cubs and Todd Hollingsworth banging into the padding. I'd say, do you remember it? I'm not so sure you do.
Well, I do remember it. For no lack of effort, I suppose that's how I would try to define myself as a baseball player. Was
that's a
effort.
great catch.
And well, I appreciate that very much. I never saw myself as graceful or making pretty catches, but
it'll be fair down the line as Castro will get in the scoring position with nobody out.
Definitely tried hard.
Cubs won that game in 15 innings. That game-saving catch was in the bottom of the 12th. As Castro starting the bottom of the 7th with an extra base hit.
Great start, staying on the changeup down in the zone, lines it down the left field line, gets himself into scoring position right off the bat.
And Xavier Nady will hit for Randy Wells. Nice job with the 7th inning stretch. You did not make headlines, which is good. Usually the only headlines are made when you mess up the words or something else.
Well, that's what you're shooting for. It just kind of fly below the radar, right?
That's right. Nicely done. Get the crowd into it. One strike on Nady.
I appreciate it. It's been a real fun weekend, and hopefully we get ourselves another victory today. It's been good. I know Bob's been away with his son Michael down in Florida, and I know he's been enjoying that time, but I know, Keith, I could speak for him. We both have enjoyed our time with you as well.
Comes the 0-1 to Nady, and Castro trying to get to third. Rollins thought about it, might have had a play. In the end, chose to get the out at first.
This could essentially be the play of the game right there. The indecision on Jimmy Rollins to go for Starlin Castro going to third base. I thought he had a great shot at him. As you see right here, he comes up. He's very, very sure. Starlin's only halfway to third base. It definitely would have taken a really good throw, a throw over Starlin's right shoulder, but a throw that would have had to have been on the bag. But this is a play that Jimmy Rollins has been made. He's made before in his career, and he's been having a great series defensively, making good plays. But it's going to change the feel of this ball game right now as the Cubs get themselves a runner into not only scoring position, but third base with less than 2 outs.
So a meeting of all the infielders on the mound with Hamels as he'll face Ryan Theriot. Theriot has grounded out all 3 times, and he just had a chat with Mike Quaddy at third base. The infield is in. Victorino and Worth coming in a few steps. Ibanez still playing pretty deep out in left. Here we go. Called strike.
Well, you bring that infield in, you add about 100 points to the hitter's batting average. Ryan, yes, he's hit 3 ground balls, but the holes get obviously get a little shorter when you pull that infield in. You don't have to hit it as hard to get it through at the same time. Again, you're shooting for a fly ball or something into the outfield, but your percentages go way up when they pull that infield in.
Off the inside corner. With Hamels facing Terrio, he's probably good for at least 2 more batters, including the current guy, because left-handed hitting Tyler Colvin is on deck. Squeeze play. They get it down, and nobody covering first. Everybody's saved. So they've done it twice in this series. Castro has scored both times. It was a steal of home on a pitch in the dirt Thursday night. Terrio gets the ball down, and Castro easily scores.
Great play, great call by Lou Piniella, putting the squeeze play on. Philadelphia had a meeting just before this at bat. I'm sure that they were aware of the potential for a squeeze play. They called it at the right time. He gets the ball down on a fastball. Everything worked out. Nobody covering first base, gets himself a base hit out of it. These are the little things that are going right for the Cubs now that weren't going well for them in the beginning of the season in the first half. Plays like that.
So a 1-0 lead. And now Lou can turn to Sean Marshall and Carlos Marmol for the final couple of innings. Colvin went.
Randy Wells finds himself in line for the win as well.
How about Starlin Castro? 2 more hits today. A big leadoff double. The 20-year-old shortstop teaming up with his double play partner on the suicide squeeze. This, Todd, is the type of baseball Lou would like to play. Well, in the right spot with the right speed on the bases, he's been able to do that.
Again, you're talking about athleticism. Starlin Castro brings that every day. You understand that this is a team that probably is not going to go out and steal a ton of bases. You can't redefine yourself when you're struggling on offense. You have to find ways to succeed and still be yourself at times. And this is a team that was put together and on paper would tell you that they were supposed to hit an awful lot of home run balls, get the ball out of the yard, doubles, extra base hits, a lot of power, some good discipline at the plate. And in the first half, they've just been terribly, terribly inconsistent. So they've gone to alternate routes to find that offense. And Starlin Castro's been a pleasant surprise.
Terrio is running, and this is a slicing fly that'll get out of play.
The ability to hit and run right there. I mean, you have a little bit more athleticism. The Cubs have had it over the last couple months, but that's what you want. You have to understand what Lou's saying when he says, I want 5 runs a ball game. This is what I'm shooting for. Give me 5 runs a ball game, and we're going to go out and win 90 ball games. You have to understand how that puts itself together. It's not going out and scoring 5 every day, and some days you're going to score 12. Other days you're going to score 2, but good teams find ways to win ball games, whether they're 2-1 or whether they're 12-0.
Terrio running again, and he is out. Collins able to get the tag on him. Drifting toward the first base side, but Rollins able to just get Terrio on his way through.
That's right on the way by right there. A pretty decent throw. You don't want to get that throw tailing too far up into the first baseline towards first base.
And this will do it, but the Cubs get the lead. On a suicide squeeze, it turned into an RBI hit for Ryan Terrio, and the Cubs lead 1-0 after 7.
On Sunday, July 25th, watch the Cubs battle the Cardinals at 1:20 p.m. The first 20,000 fans will receive a Cubs t-shirt, courtesy of StubHub, official fan. It's a fan ticket marketplace of Cubs.com.
And that will be a night game, 7:05 against the Cardinals. In fact, back-to-back Sunday nights, going back to last weekend in Los Angeles. Sean Marshall will get the 8th. And Carlos Marmol and Andrew Kashner, just in case, already up in the bullpen. And switch hitting Jimmy Rollins will lead it off.
Well, interestingly enough, Len, I talk about it quite often on the pre and post game show about that 7th inning, winning that 7th inning. The Cubs have struggled there so often this year. They get the 1 run in the 7th, and they've got the lead right now, albeit a 1-run lead.
Rollins still without a hit in this series. 0 for 3 today, did reach on an error in the first inning. Randy Wells was excellent. 7 innings, 7 hits, no runs. Very tardy swing by Rollins. And I do want to mention the big charity event coming up for Children's Memorial Hospital. Brian Terrio and Randy Wells will be hosting on Wednesday, August 4th at Joe's on Weed. 2010 Red Dirt Fest. Lots of great music. And again, all the proceeds will benefit Children's Memorial Hospital. Been a rough year for Jimmy Rollins, 2 times on the DL with a right calf strain. Slider missed outside. 1-2.
When you find yourself on the disabled list more than one time in any one particular year, it's very, very hard to get any kind of consistency, any kind of rhythm at the plate. And I think those numbers show you that right there.
That one looked a lot better than the one before that, but he did get it. 2-2. Two curveball, and Rollins able to line a foul. Yoki Kuroda and Adam Wainwright later on in St. Louis. Cardinals have already won the first 2 games of that series. As we mentioned, Edinson Volquez will come off the DL and pitch for the Reds against left-hander Jorge De La Rosa of the Rockies at Great American Ballpark. Josh Johnson with his 1.70 ERA will face Livan Hernandez tonight. Washington at Florida. Last night, Steven Strasburg, 6 shutout innings to get the win. Castro backing up into the grass. He better hurry, and he gets it by a half a step. Showing off his arm there, and he needed all of it.
Well, he might have waited a pause longer than I would have liked, but he has got that strong right arm to rest on. He got it across there quickly, got himself into position. Maybe you want to get rid of that ball a little bit quicker. Jimmy Rollins busting it down the line, but any baseball player should be doing that.
Good look from Shuttercan behind first base. Shift again against Ryan Howard, who takes it in the dirt.
You know, Len, we talk about the Cubs being in the position that they're in, trying to get back into the race, trying to rediscover themselves, and that really is, you know, kind of becomes the problem, is that when you're chasing 2 teams, and, you know, yes, they played well against the Phillies in this series, they're winning this ball game again today, and things are looking good. At the same time, St. Louis is taking care of their own business, so you're not making up any ground, and so essentially you lose control of the division, you lose control of your fate. I mean, you can take care of your business on the field, but as long as the teams in front of you keep winning, you cannot make up that ground that you're hoping to make up. It's not just about winning. You have to have other things happen in your favor.
Well, and it also makes the remaining games the Cubs have against the Cardinals and the Reds that much more critical. Here's a 2-1 inside, 3-1.
Well, this Cubs team is going to find themselves this year, and make a move or make these last 70 games count, you know, with the September push or anything that, you know, you want to throw out there, any one of those cliches, they're going to have to beat St. Louis and Cincinnati.
Third time Howard has reached 3 different ways: a single, hit by a pitch, and now a walk. And it will be Jason Worth starting to heat up with hits in his last 2 at-bats. The team the Cubs have not seen yet this season, San Francisco, coming off back-to-back shutout wins over the Mets. They've won 4 in a row. They're tied for 3rd in the West, but very much in the wild card race.
You find out West a lot of the same things that this Cubs team has been doing, which is great starting pitching, decent bullpens, good guys at the end of their bullpens, but searching for offense.
0-2 on Worth. Hits, including 3 extra base hits for Worth in this career matchup against Marshall. Short lead by Howard. The kick in the 0-2. Weighted back, fouled off the curveball. Swing and a miss.
That's what he was searching for right there. You saw him shake his head. The pitch before hung a curveball. It was a little bit slower curveball. You say, what is the greatest asset of Sean Marshall? Is that he throws 92, 93 miles an hour? I say, yeah, obviously it's his curveball, but the ability to change off that curveball. He'll throw you a big curveball. He'll throw you a short curveball, one that's down in the dirt, and you saw it right there. He added a little bit of velocity. He flattened it out a little bit. Fooled Jason Worth. The pitch before that was a slow curveball that Jason was able to see a little bit better and just foul off.
Ibanez waves at strike 1. Phillies have had some pretty big offensive broughts. They had a stretch earlier this season. Late May, they got shut out in an entire 3-game series in New York against the Mets. 5 times in a dismal 8-game stretch, they were held without a run. And outside of Ryan Howard in this series, they've been fairly quiet as well. Two and one.
Very, very difficult to believe or expect that would happen. There's some proven, very, very good proven hitters on this Phillies team, and a team that just had a great run last year and the year before that offensively. Big numbers from key individuals. Raul Ibanez, Ryan Howard doing his thing, 45, 50 home runs. I mean, these guys can absolutely mash when they're right. That's why this is such a surprising year. You know, I know that they've had some injuries to Chase Utley and Placido Polanco, but again, there's still enough proven hitters on this team to understand or believe that they would give you a little bit more offense than they have.
40,924, and we're getting up for 2-2 from Marshall to Ibanez. Got him! Back-to-back Ks, Worth and Ibanez to get out of the 8th. They strand a man at first. Cubs will try to tack on to their 1-0 lead when we come back. Durbin came back from the DL coming out of the All-Star break, had a right hamstring strain that cost him about 3 weeks as he faces Derek Lee. Low, ball one. Got to look ahead to the 9th. Ruiz, Valdez, and a pinch hitter. And against closer Carlos Marmol at this point. A pop-up, shallow right, and Valdez calling for it. And he dropped it. Lost it in the sun at the last second. And the Cubs get a break. Thank you very much, Wilson Valdez. It'll be a hit for Lee.
Well, I'm a firm believer of whether you're an infielder or an outfielder, you watch right there, he drifts a little bit. I really think you need to find a spot and run to it and then make adjustments. It looked to me right there towards the end that he started to make adjustments as obviously he lost the ball in the sun, but he didn't get himself into position to make the catch. If you get yourself to the spot where you believe that ball is going to come down, you can adjust from there. But the key is getting yourself there. And when you drift, you really don't give yourself much of an opportunity to make that adjustment.
He also didn't appear to ask for any help. Not sure Ryan Howard saw it better. So the Cubs can take advantage as Ramirez fouls back. 1 ball, 1 strike on the Cubs' third baseman. Carlos Marmol on an historic strikeout surge. It's almost up to 2 per inning. What a job that guy's done.
Hard to believe his confidence is rising, and it actually looked like it was yesterday. For as good as he was in the first half, he actually looks like a man on a mission. He did yesterday.
Well, remember, he did not make the All-Star team, and he should have, and it's tough when you have to make those final decisions, and every team needs to have a representative, but the NL All-Star manager's in the other dugout. Charlie Manuel, I'm sure gave Marmol very close consideration. Two and two.
Well, in my opinion, statistically, he should have been there. He put everybody else's numbers, and some of those guys who made that roster puts him to shame. I mean, his strikeout to walk ratio is fantastic. His strikeouts per innings pitch is fantastic. He's one of the, if not the, in my opinion, he is the most dominant closer in the National League. I know there's some people out there that would argue with me, but you saw what he did yesterday, and hopefully we're going to see it again today.
Ramirez got jammed as Ibanez emphatically waving for it, making the catch.
And we talk about Sean Marshall here and what he's done for this Cubs team this year and settling down that 8th inning. And the one big asset that he has is the ability to throw varying curveballs. It's such a strength to have that. I think for Roy Oswalt, being a left-handed hitter, what Roy Oswalt was able to do, changing speed, Sean does just that same thing. And that's what makes him so valuable in the 8th inning. I mean, it's very, very rare to see a lefty in his position as the setup man in that 8th inning. And you say, how do you define what he's done and how he's been able to do it? Well, he doesn't have an overpowering fastball. It's the ability to change speeds and change elevation on his curveball. He throws 3 or 4 different types of curveballs, and it really works to his benefit, especially against the left-handed hitters and even the right-handed hitters. You don't see comfortable at-bats against Sean Marshall.
Pitch to Bird. 1 ball, no strikes. You're right, you see a few left-handed setup guys, but they're usually guys with very good fastballs. Matt Thornton stands out on the south side, but I can't think of another one who lives off his curveball like Sean Marshall does. Such a tough pitch to throw for called strikes as Lee takes off. Better hurry, and he's out. Took a look back at home plate, which sometimes indicates a hit and run. At any rate, he is gunned down for the second out. That was a long look.
Usually does. If I were a betting man, I would say that was a missed hit and run right there. Why? Number 1, Derek Lee does not attempt very many stolen bases anymore. Number 2, Marlon Byrd he's a hit and run candidate. He's done it before in the past, and he's willing to take on that sign that he would get from his third base coach and put the ball in play right there. I think it might have just been a blown sign on Marlon Byrd's call.
1-2 the count, 2 down here in the 8th. Back from the windup, 2-2. So there have been 4 caught stealings already in this game, and remember Victorino trying to stretch a single into a double.
It really has been an interesting day, one that you probably could not have predicted with the way the weather was, and both of these teams swinging the bat a little bit better early in the series. Yesterday was a bit of a pitcher's duel. Today, even more of a pitcher's duel, and with the matchups tomorrow, you felt like the hitters today would, maybe make some mental notes on what they had in front of them tomorrow, and say, listen, if I'm going to get it, I'm going to get it today.
Durbin's 3-2. Low, ball 4.
Another solid at bat by Marlon Byrd right there, laying off a 3-2 pitch down below his knees. He's seeing the ball real well right now.
Phillies and Cubs have combined to go 1 for 14 with runners in scoring position. But the one hit was a successful suicide squeeze bunt by Ryan Theriot in the 7th. That's why the Cubs have the lead here in the 8th.
And he was actually giving himself up for the cause, so he wasn't even searching out for a hit right there. He actually ended up being rewarded with a hit, but again, he was just doing his job and getting that ball down on the ground.
Ryan, Mr. Dempster, cheering on his teammates. Another pretty good pitch. Durbin didn't get it. 2-1.
Extra long look into home plate umpire Gary Cedarstrom. Thought he should have got that one, I think.
It's that one on the outside. 2-2. Soto is on deck. Cole Hamels on the hook for the loss, even though he gave up just 1 run in 7 strong innings. Called strike 3 on a breaker, and we will head off to the 9th. We'll see a lot of power sliders and fastballs from Carlos Marmol when we come back. Fukudome comes in to play right, so Soriano is out. And he made the last out of the 8th. That's where the pitcher's spot will go, as Carlos Marmol tries to get his second save in as many days. This would be his 18th on the year. And pinch hitters for the Phillies, Greg Dobbs for Ruiz. And then Brian Schneider, the backup catcher, left-handed hitter, is going to hit for Valdez. Slider, strike one. Outside. Todd, as a hitter, especially a lefty, you left-handed hitter, what's your approach against Marmol in this spot?
Well, having never faced him before, my game plan, again, watching him quite often, I certainly would want to make sure I have my front foot down first and foremost. That slider, there's such a variation between his fastball at 95 and 96 miles an hour and that slow slider that does so many things. It acts like a frisbee up there. You really can't count on it as a hitter. So
the Colvin for out number 1.
I really think you just need to have an approach where you stay center on him. I mean, to his credit, he's got the ability to work both sides of the plate, and that's a great strength of his. But you have to pick a side of the plate. I think most importantly, you have to pick one of those pitches and say, I'm going to sit on it. Don't go up there thinking you're going to defend both of them. You either say, I'm going to go up there and look for the fastball, or I'm going to go up there and look for the slider and commit to it. Make sure you get your front foot down and stay on your backside. And after that, cross your fingers and hope.
A ridiculous strikeout rate for Carlos Marmol as he faces Brian Schneider. Playing for the team he grew up rooting for, the Phillies. He has been in the National League East his entire career. And it's his first appearance of this series. Way inside, it's 2-0 on the veteran Schneider, who signed a 2-year contract as a free agent in the offseason. Now 3-0. And if Schneider reaches, pretty good chance Charlie Manuel will use somebody to pinch run for him. Another pinch hitter on deck, Ross Glode, in the pitcher's spot.
He's got the left-handed army coming up there. He's saved all those guys for this situation, this spot right here. I've heard Carlos talk again and again about how he has so much more confidence in his slider. Well, I mean, it is a very delicate pitch to him, and what I mean by that is to understand how to have pinpoint control with a pitch that's moving up and down and in and out can be difficult at times. So when he loses it, people just really don't understand. Well, why don't you throw more fastballs? Well, he believes in his slider more than he believes in his fastball. Yes, his fastball is 92, 94, 95 miles an hour, but he loves his slider. It's very, very difficult to hit. When you're facing these teams that don't see you very often during the course of the year, it's even more effective. So it's to his best interest to really throw it as much as he possibly can. He's made trouble for himself before in the past, and he routinely gets himself out of it.
Now that I mentioned a possible pinch runner, of course, Ruiz already out of the game. Dobbs hit for him, so you really can't take Schneider out. Only catcher still in the game for the Phillies. Ball 1, and Soto goes out to chat with Marmol. Ross Glode, a former Chicago Cub. Let's look at the Felco upcoming schedule. Night game tomorrow. Then the Astros come in for 3. Off day Thursday. The Cardinals in for 3, and then the Cubs hit the road with 3 in Houston and 3 at Colorado. Hi, Jim. Quintanis. Inside, 2 balls, no strikes. Larry Rothschild to the mound.
Well, I think most of us in Chicago have been nervous a time or two with Carlos out there, but I really do believe he's established himself as one of the elite closers in the game. His stuff unquestionably is elite. You know, these are the situations that we get occasionally from him, falling behind hitters, putting some runners on base, but he just does not get hit hard. He doesn't give up the long ball. He can get a big strikeout. He can load the bases and get himself out of those jams. Those are the guys you want to believe in at the end of the game.
And when in doubt, he usually relies on the slider. So this would be, he'll throw that slider here to try to get it back. And he does, but it missed. And when his slider is not being thrown for strikes, that's when he gets in trouble, because he can command it better than his fastball.
Well, he believes in it more, and it's certainly his most effective pitch.
That a heater on the inside third. 3-1. Big swing by Glode. 3-2. Glode has hit for a low average as a pinch hitter. He does have 3 home runs off the bench.
Well, Carlos Marmol's not the guy you want to be looking to go deep off of. If it happens, it happens. You want to have more of a small ball approach. Try and put the ball in play. Hope it finds a hole.
High for ball 4, and the tying run now in scoring position. And as importantly, roll over that lineup, and now you get the top of the Phillies order, starting with Victorino.
Well, I think in a lot of ways, like yesterday, it's not so much about the hitters. It's really a lot more about Carlos and whether he can find that strike zone. When he finds it, he's unhittable. We've seen it enough times to know that this is a guy we can believe in. This is a guy who gets it done on a regular basis, and you really don't worry about who's in the batter's box when Carlos is out there on the mound.
Fouled back. I'll tell you, that called strike on the fastball to Victorino. You saw him storm back up to the pitching rubber, and he looks angry. And not a lot of guys are better when they look angry, but I think Carlos Marmol is. The 0-2. Bounce foul. Sometimes it just takes one pitch to get locked in.
Well, you're right. He does. He responds to adversity. And when he creates a little adversity for himself out there, he seems to be at the top of his game. He makes pitches. He gets ahead of hitters. And his slider, boy, it seems to have a little bit more bite when there's runners on base.
Another 0-2, and he went. Victorino could not lay off the slider.
Well, there it is. Slider. He had him set up for it. Boy, you fall behind Carlos Marmol as a hitter, and you're defending 2 pitches, especially that slider. It is so hard to lay off of. You even looked at Shane Victorino right there trying to take a much shorter swing, just trying to put the ball in play, and even so, could not hold up.
Long chat here, and Giovanni Soto doing a majority of the talking as they talk about Placido Polanco, who was not on the active roster yesterday, just coming off the disabled list. 0 for 4. The Phillies a single away from potentially tying this game here in the ninth. Slider back, Polanco off the plate. Schneider able to get a pretty big lead with 2 outs at second.
Phillies have to be happy with getting Polanco up here into the batter's box. He has been one of their more clutch hitters.
And a base hit. Schneider is going to be sent. Here comes a throw by Coleman to the plate. Out of the glove of Soto, and it's tied 1-1. The throw was in time, but Gio just could not corral it.
Well, unfortunately, Placido Polanco on spot with the base hit. Tyler Colvin, great throw to the plate. There you have it, Giovanni Soto, a high bounce. It's such a tough play for a catcher right there to catch that ball and bring it in. You felt like he had a little bit more time, but it's so hard to gauge how much time you have. You want to make that play so badly. You know, he almost, it's like he closed his glove a little too quickly.
And Gio will be the first to tell you after the game, that one's on me. The throw was there in plenty of time. And now second and third. And Jimmy Rollins with a 2-0 count. Ryan Howard on deck. And now Marmol's just trying to preserve the tie. They did give Polanco an RBI single. Here's a pitch in the dirt. 3-0.
Carlos appears a little bit rattled from the action of the last play. The base hit to left field. He's got to find himself right here. He's got a big hitter in the on-deck circle, hoping to get an at-bat against him right now. He's hot.
That gets by, and they get the lead as Gload scores standing. So ball 4 was a wild pitch, and it's now 2-1 Phillies. What a turn of events.
Way inside on Jimmy Rollins right there. Ball gets away from Giovanni Soto. Just really appears that Carlos having a little bit of a mental lapse out there. Needs to regain his control and make a pitch to get out of this inning.
There's Ryan Howard. 2-1 Phillies. Called strike on a fastball. Three walks in the inning, a wild pitch as Rollins goes, and he'll get second without a throw. Closer up for the Phillies. Brad Lidge 2 years ago was automatic. He has not been automatic since. That popped out of Gio's mitt. The runners holding.
Now, you talk about getting Placido Polanco back. You think about how this inning has how it's developed, and you look at the at bat as a slider out over the plate that he lined into left field. Yes, the play should have definitely been made at the plate, but this is a big part of this Philadelphia Phillies team. This is why they've been able to keep their head above water. It's guys like Placido Polanco. He's one of the guys in their lineup who gets big hits in big spots because he gets pitched to quite often, and he responds.
So they walk Howard with first base open. And we'll go after Jason Worth. 4 walks now here in the ninth. And Andrew Kashner getting ready very quickly. Marmol nearing 30 pitches here in the inning. The 0-1 to Worth. Slider missing. 1 ball, 1 strike. Soto will lead off the bottom of the ninth. Castro and Fukudome as well against Brad Lidge.
You want to keep this a 2-1 ball game. You don't want to let this thing get out of control. You've got a chance. This is a Phillies bullpen that's blown some save opportunities this year. They've had their own fair share of problems. You're not out of this ball game yet. Yes, you're disappointed that the top of the ninth inning didn't go the way that you wanted it to go, but you have to respond. Good teams do. You still got a chance here, and you can get yourself a W with a good bottom of the ninth.
Just missed on a fastball. Well, that one at 91. Quite as hot as some of the earlier fastballs at 94, but pretty well located.
It was a good spot. I liked it.
Inside that time, 3-2. You're right, Todd. We keep this at a 2-1 game. You've got a chance. You just don't want to let this inning really balloon into something huge for the Phillies, who already have the lead.
Well, that's why this is a big pitch right here, a big spot, a big situation. Something's going to happen. You're going to have some action. Carlos obviously is looking for the strikeout or an out right here to put this inning to rest. But again, you've got a chance to score some runs in the bottom of the ninth. You just don't want the score to get out of control.
Runners going to 3-2 as Worth able to just get a piece of it to stay alive. Turns on it and rips it foul into the seats. Outside, he has forced in a run, and it's now 3-1. And Lou's going to have to come and get him after his 5th walk of this inning. And it will be left-hander James Russell against Raul Ibanez with the bases loaded. Well, this game could have ended on a tag play at the plate. Didn't happen, and it's now the Lexus call to the pen with the Phillies leading 3-1. But the Phillies have rallied here in the ninth. 5 walks, a very close play at the plate. Soto would have had the tag and the out to end the game, but he could not cleanly field the bounced throw from Tyler Colvin. 2 more runs since, and James Russell into a tight bind as he faces Raul Ibanez with the bases loaded, and the Cubs trailing now by 2 in the dirt. Ball 1. I don't have to tell you, Todd, you got to throw strikes in this spot.
Well, that's the problem of late, but it seems like things really unraveled when that play at the plate was not made. And I'm sure Gio would tell you that's a play that he should have made, but at the same time, it's just such a bang-bang play. And for a catcher with the gear on in the 9th inning and the high hop and getting the tag down, it's you have to be able to understand the timing of the play to really have an appreciation for what a difficult play it is. You try catching a ball with that glove on the bounce, the catcher's glove, which is bigger around the edges. It's also difficult too. Again, like I said, I'm sure he would tell you that's a play I should have made. I think he rushed himself a little bit, and that's why it didn't get made.
Big strike. 2-1. Nowhere to put Raul Ibanez.
This is a big out right here. You still want to give yourself a shot in the bottom of the 9th inning to do some things. This is the Phillies bullpen. Brad Lidge has struggled at times this year as he's worked himself back into the closer's role. I know that there's been some booing in Philly over his situation as the closer there when he's come into some ball games and blown some saves. So I think ideally the Cubs want to keep this as a 3-1 ball game. Give yourself a shot in the 9th inning and hope that you can do something.
The bouncer to Derek Lee. Russell better hurry. The flip. No flip. Russell got over there late. They get another run. It's 4-1. And Lou is back out. You know, Russell really didn't hesitate, Todd. He falls far to the third base side and just had a very long run to get over there.
It is just his delivery. You're absolutely right, Len. Exactly what happens here. He falls way to the right side of the rubber, and he's just got a longer way to run. The left-handed hitter's got that advantage out of the box, especially when you're fooled on an off-speed pitch. When you get out on your front foot, that left-handed hitter gets a good step towards first base, one that the right-handed hitter doesn't get.
Lexus pursuing perfection. Call to the pin. Cashner in. 4-1 Phillies. Hard throwing right-hander Andrew Cashner trying to get that elusive final out here in the 9th. And Cody Ransom hitting for Greg Dobbs, who pinch hit for Carlos Ruiz to start this inning. It was an infield hit for Ibanez to make it 4-1.
Cashner comes into the ball game, 95, 98 miles an hour, hard thrower, good slider.
Diving stop, Castro out at second. What a play by Starlin Castro. If he doesn't get to that ball, it's 6-1 as it is. The Phillies get 4 to take a 3-run lead to the bottom of the 9th. What a play. And Schneider catching. And the closer, Brad Lidge, also features a slider. Will make his 19th appearance. He's had some injury problems the last couple of years, which you'd think has spoken to some of his struggles in 09 and here in 2010. 2 stints on the DL, right elbow surgery, and recovered from that over the first month, and elbow inflammation in May as well.
I think in Brad's case, the drop in velocity off of his fastball has been the real thing that he has lost. He was a 95, 96 mile an hour, basically a right-handed, or the Phillies version, I should say, of Carlos Marmol. Great slider, power fastball. Well, that fastball really hasn't been there nearly as much. He's throwing 91, 92 miles an hour now. It's a little bit more comfortable for hitters to be more cautious about that slider and sit back and react to a 91, 92 mile an hour fastball as opposed to a 95, 96 mile an hour fastball. Now he comes into today having blown 3 of his last 5 save opportunities. So again, an opportunity here for the Cubs to do something in the bottom of the ninth.
Mike Fontenot pinch hitting for Giovanni Soto. Hasn't been playing a whole lot lately. He does carry in a 6-game hitting streak at Wrigley Field. It is a save spot for Lidge with a 3-run lead starting the ninth. 2-1 as he falls off the mound.
Another guy that you want to be patient with. You talked about hitters' approaches against Carlos Marmol. Yes, he's got a devastating slider, but first thing that sticks out in your mind as a hitter is to be patient. Is he going to be throwing strikes that day? Brad Lidge absolutely falls into that category as well. Be patient. See if he's going to throw you some strikes.
3-1. Two-time All-Star. Various arm problems, knee troubles as well. Comeback Player of the Year in 08. Perfect in save chances, 41 out of 41 in the regular season, 7 for 7 in the playoffs, and had a nightmare of a regular season last year. 0-8 with a 7.21, blew 11 saves. Went 3 for 3 in save chances last postseason as he comes all the way back and strikes out Fontenot on a 94 mile an hour heater.
Well, after that 08 season, he had nowhere to go but down, right?
Yeah, that's as good as it gets for a closer.
That's correct. As dominant a season as any closer has ever had.
Caught the corner on Castro. A highlight reel defensive play to help the Cubs finally get out of the top of this inning. Lidge with a nice snag. Not a good throw, but Howard not only stayed on the base but caught the ball for the out. Two excellent plays here by Lidge, but then a bad throw. I don't think he had a good grip on it, and then Ryan Howard saved him.
A real nice athletic play here, and that's what you have to do. I spent a little time over at first base, and you have to kind of get yourself into that fielding position. You want to overcommit to where the ball's going, coming from the pitcher or coming from another infielder too soon, and you saw Ryan do that right there. He kept himself in position, was able to react to the bad throw and still keep his foot on the bag.
So it's up to Kosuke. Batting for the first time today, came in to play right in the top of the ninth. One ball, one strike. pulled down the right field line, but too much. If the Cubs cannot pull off a huge 2-out comeback, this will go down as one of the toughest losses of the season. Yes, it was a 1-run lead in the ninth. A precarious position, but again, they were that close. A tag play at the plate away from closing them out. Two and two.
I think back to the Phillies rally in the first game of the series. They were down a bunch of runs, but they were able to put up, I believe it was about a 4 spot in the ninth inning with 2 outs. So you can't say it won't or can't be done.
Fouled back as Kosuke hangs in. Still 2 and 2. Cleveland came all the way back and beat Detroit 4-3. Fausto Carmona got the win for the Indians, his 9th. Chris Perez with a save, filling in for Kerry Wood. Good battle.
He's doing a real good job right here. You don't want to give at bats away no matter what point of the game it's at. Late in the game, down 3 runs in the ninth inning. However it may be, you want to have good at bats. Good hitters don't give at bats away. That's one of the things for me that defines some of the best hitters in the game and some of the more average hitters in this game are the hitters who take each and every bat like it might be their last.
3 and 2. Dodgers and Cardinals just a couple of minutes away from starting in St. Louis. Kuroda and Wainwright. Manny Ramirez left due to injury last night with right calf tightness. And no Russell Martin. Also has a nagging thumb injury. Ball 4 to keep the inning alive.
Real good at bat right there. Fouling off some tough pitches, some high fastballs and low sliders inside at his shoe tops. Real tough to do when you're not playing every day and you're not getting an awful lot of playing time, to go out there and have a good at bat against tough closers. And that's the role of pinch hitters and guys around baseball. I think they're so underappreciated at times because that's what their job definition is.
And Kosuke will take second without a throw.
Ontario can get himself on base, tying run to the plate.
And it is a guy who can hit the ball out of the yard. Tyler Colvin on deck. Ontario gave the Cubs the lead on a successful suicide squeeze. So successfully got a hit out of it in the 7th, but he's down 0-2 here in the 9th. Deep breath by Lidge as he glances in to get the sign from Brian Schneider.
They really attacked Brian Ontario on the inside part of the plate today with a lot of hard fastballs. When you've proven that you can get your fair share of base hits, but don't show that extra base power or that home run power, pitchers are more inclined to attack you, especially inside, understanding that, you know, if you're going to have some success, it's going to probably be a single or you know, something that's not going to do too much damage.
You know, Lidge wants some action here on a 2-2. He does not want to run it full and risk walking Theriot and bringing the tying run to the plate. And pop up shallow right. And a catch by Worth. Had to pull it off his shoe tops, as the sun was an issue once again. But this time the Philly defender makes the grab, and that will end it, as the Phillies come back with 4 in the 9th and beat the Cubs 4-1. And now, Todd Hollandsworth, you got to beat Roy Halladay to win this series tomorrow night. Tough spot.
Well, that's the unfortunate place this Cubs team finds himself in. That's why today was a pivotal game, a game that you wanted to win. You get that 3rd win in a 4-game series. You go into tomorrow and you don't really put too much expectation on yourself. Well, you go into tomorrow now after losing today and you want to win. You're going to come out confident and believe that you're going to win, but you're going against one of the best right-handers in the game. He understands that this offense is struggling, and he is a big game pitcher. And the Philadelphia Phillies right now are playing big games for their season. They're trailing 2 teams in the National League East, and they're trying to make up some ground.
Our GMC player of the game, starter Randy Wells, a very tough no decision, 7 scoreless innings. He walked just 2, struck out 5. Had to flirt with danger occasionally, but made some big pitches.
Oh, he was in complete control all game long. A Randy Wells start is a game that's going to have some runners on base, and there's going to be some action out there. To me, it's how Randy is going to manage those innings, and he did a fantastic job of that today. Had a great sinker, a good changeup, a timely slider on the outside corner to a lot of these right-handed Philly hitters. He did a real nice job today. Gave his team a chance to win a ball game. Unfortunately, the Cubs lost it there in the 9th.
Nicely done, partner. Appreciate you jumping into the booth with me, and I know we'll do it again coming up in September as well. And let's see if the Cubs can get to Roy Halladay tomorrow night. That'll do it for our game coverage. Stay tuned for Sylvania post-game live. The final score, the Phillies 4, the Cubs 1. Our next Cubs telecast on Comcast Sportsnet, Tuesday night, 7 o'clock here from Wrigley Field. Game 2 of a 3-game series. In-game scoring provided by ScorePad. And now for Todd Hollandsworth and our entire Comcast Sportsnet crew, this is Len Casper sending it over to Gail and Dave Otto, the lefty, in our downtown Chicago studios.